I'll be honest right from the start. I know not many people are going to watch this video, and that's fine. I'm making this one for me, and maybe the version of me who was 15 a long time ago. Because this marks 10 years of this channel existing in public. 10 years of me talking about books, changing my mind, losing my confidence, finding it again, disappearing and coming back, all of it. And there are only a handful of books that followed me quietly that entire time. One of them is To Kill a Mockingbird. My name is Darth James, this is the Bald Book Geek, and welcome to the 10-year anniversary videos. There's a playlist, you can find it. Like, sub, tell me what you think, and if you want to keep the lights on, Patreon, Substack, channel memberships, and Ko-fi. But let's just get into the meat and bones of this one, shall we? I was 15 when I first read To Kill a Mockingbird. It wasn't some prestige collector's edition, it was a second-hand copy my grandmother gave me. Yellowed pages, cracked spines, a snapshot of the movie on the cover. The kind of book that already felt it had lived a life before it reached me. And I fell in love with it immediately. Not in the this changed the world way, but in this deeper way where something just clicked, where you feel seen without understanding why. Harper Lee's writing is beautiful. It's lyrical without being flowery. It flows in ways that feel natural, conversational. But you know it isn't effortless. It feels lived in, like these sentences existed long before they were written down. And I think that's why To Kill a Mockingbird stuck with people even when they don't fully understand why. Because here's the thing. It's one of the most misunderstood books I can think of. People remember the courtroom scene. They remember Atticus Finch being this untouchable moral icon. They remember being told very loudly what this book is about, air quotes, in school. But that's not really the heart of it. To Kill a Mockingbird isn't a simple story about good versus evil. It's not a neat moral tale where the right people win and everything makes sense. It's a coming-of-age story. It's about Scout, and by extension all of us, learning that the world isn't fair, that people you admire can fail, that doing the right thing doesn't guarantee a good outcome. And that realization, that moment where the world shifts slightly out of alignment, that's something we all go through. There's always that one moment where innocence just leaves the room quietly. You didn't notice it happening at first, but you feel it after. You feel that absence. That's what this book is about. That's why I always say To Kill a Mockingbird is Southern Gothic in tone. I stand by that. It has this slow, heavy melancholia running through it, a sense of beauty sitting right next to decay, of childhood memories tinged with sadness. It's haunted, but not by ghosts, but by the knowledge that things won't stay the same. The characters feel real in that way only genuinely good writing manages. Scout, Jim, Atticus, Boo Radley. They don't feel like symbols or lessons, they feel like people you knew once, people you remember imperfectly but vividly. Harper Lee wrote them with an incredible amount of restraint and empathy. They're not romanticized, not sending off any rough edges. Now there's Go Set a Watchman. This book caused a mess when it first came out. People called it a sequel. People said it ruined To Kill a Mockingbird. People argued about Atticus Finch like he was a real person who betrayed them. But here's the reality. Go Set a Watchman was never meant to be a sequel. It's the first draft. Harper Lee originally wrote a novel about adult scout Jean Louise returning to Macomb. Her editor noticed the childhood flashbacks and said, essentially, this is the book. So Harper Lee went back and rewrote it, shifted the focus, she refined it, and then rewrote To Kill a Mockingbird. Into Kill a Mockingbird, I should say. So when you read Go Set a Watchman, you're not reading what came after, you're reading what came before, the rough version, the unpolished truth, the sketch under the final painting, and honestly I think it's kind of beautiful. It's messier, it's angrier, it's more disillusioned, but there's something painfully honest about it. It tears down nostalgia, it fuses to protect the past and makes people uncomfortable. especially if they didn't know what they were holding. Harper Lee herself has always fascinated me. She was intensely private. She didn't chase fame. She didn't explain herself. She didn't build a brand. She didn't turn her work into a performance. She wrote a book that she needed to write and then, for the most part, walked away. And I think there's something quite radical about that. She lived a whole life in a small town in Alabama, the place that inspired Macomb. She was childhood friends with Truman Capote, and that relationship shaped both of them, for better or worse, and fame complicated things. Time complicates things. It usually does, right? But Harper Lee never tried to control the narrative around herself. She didn't defend her work, she didn't over-explain it, she didn't chase relevancy. And the longer I've been doing this, talked online, constantly contextualizing myself, constantly explaining why, I respect that far more. She let the work stand on its own, and that's maybe why it lasted. To Kill a Mockingbird isn't comforting, it's empathic. But it also understands the limits of empathy. It knows that sometimes you can do everything right and still lose. That's not a popular message, but it's a true one. And maybe that's why this book has followed me since I was 15. And then almost through 10 years of this channel almost. Different versions of myself. Through confidence, through burnout, through losing myself. Some books don't trend, they don't age, they just stay. So if you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird because you were told to, I'd encourage you to go back to it now. Read it quietly on your own terms without someone explaining what you're supposed to think. You might find a different book waiting for you. And if you read Go Set a Watchman, read it with kindness. As process, not product. As a rough truth before redefining. Harper Lee only wrote 2 books. But she said all she needed to say. So yeah, this one's for me. And for the kid who opened that battered paperback at 15. And if you made it this far, thank you. And if you've never read To Kill a Mockingbird, maybe it's the right time.